maybe about 36 to 48 hours ago, right about between the time of the weekend and into and around the early portions of Monday into Tuesday. That is where we picked up the better chance of getting some very heavy winds. And this is where we're looking at the potential out there for the problems once again. So for Polk and Monroe counties in Tennessee, a high wind watch has been posted by the National Weather Service in Morristown, which means that these areas right in here, according to the National Weather Service, as we look into that particular area, this high wind watch is looking for the potential of winds gusting to 80 miles per hour. So we're looking at some very powerful winds Friday morning through about Friday evening, and that could spell some problems again for damage and for power outages and for just about anything along those lines coming up. So that is what we're going to be looking for there. All right, I think Facebook is online from what I can see. Let me just make certain that the audio is working properly. This is Weather Overtime. We are live from downtown Chattanooga, Tennessee at the News 12 studios. Looks like audio is working fine, so no problem there. Taking a closer look as to what's going on, we are live on Twitch and Facebook Live, so if you have comments, drop them into the chat function, the stream chat function on Twitch TV and into the comments section on Facebook if you'd like to talk a little bit more about what we're talking about here for this evening. And that is going to be our main focus with those next storm systems coming on through. Let's take a quick second to be a little bit more in the way of beautiful shots. Some very nice conditions there from Taylor's Ridge, Ringgold, Georgia. Thank you, Carol Slichter. I hope I'm saying that correctly. That's our Langley Roofing weather window picture of the day. And if you've got pictures, please send them in to us. We'd love to see what you're seeing out there. Pictures at WDEF.com or send them to Facebook, X, or Instagram pages. We'd love to be able to see what your focus is going to be out there and what you've been seeing out across the area. Mid-50s tomorrow, lots of sunshine for Thursday. Winds might occasionally gust around 20 miles per hour or more, but I really don't think we're looking at too much of anything. I think most of the area will probably see wind gusts barely over 10 miles per hour. So outdoor activities, heading out to the golf course, you won't need the umbrella, but that may change into Friday as our next storm system comes on through. Our Greater Chattanooga Orthodontics bus stop forecast for the morning, it's going to be another chilly one into tomorrow morning as we see numbers back into the lower to mid 30s, and then dismissal time temperatures mid 50s. And we should be seeing a few clouds out there, but beyond that, nothing really much more than that. Downtown Chattanooga on the Bailey's Heating and Air Camera, very nice, dry, clear skies. It's a bit on the brisk side. We'll take a look at temperatures coming up here in just a little bit. State Highway 27 moving on through. 153 at 64. Plainview Outdoor Advertising Camera at Lee Point. No problems at all with travel here, and clear skies off to the south and to the west. Patriot Concrete Camera, lights of Signal Mountain visible off in the distance, and looking at I-24 traffic moving along very nicely through downtown Chattanooga. From the North Shore on the Speedy's Total Car Care Camera, lot less wind this evening, so the Tennessee River moving through the area downtown between the North Shore and downtown. Pretty much like glass tonight, although there are some little bit of a breeze out there, just enough to stir things around a little bit. That traffic from 75 north to 24 west through that construction zone, Tomahawk crane and rigging camera showing a decent amount of slowdown taking place there. Temperatures have dropped into the mid 30s, and we will see again, pretty frosty evening coming up into tonight, so I would guess there's going to be the need for the potential for some scraping of the frost off of the windshield in the morning hours. Right before the top of the hour, temperatures are back in the 30s, a few upper 20s in northeast Alabama, and also into around western North Carolina. Satellite radar composite radar is complete and total clean sweep. Just a few clouds coming into view over Signal Mountain from Middle Tennessee, and so far that is about all that we have to see at this time. Now, shaping up for the next couple of days. Again, we've got one storm system that was in the area last night. It is now over southern parts, southeastern parts of Canada, moving away to the north and to the east. We've got a weak storm system that'll be passing through the area tonight and into tomorrow. But as you can see, it basically is surrounded by dry air, so there's very little, if anything, expected here. The storm system beyond that into the Friday period, that is where we're going to be seeing the possibility of gusty winds and maybe the possibility of some rain out there, maybe some thunderstorms and some gusty winds. But looking farther afield, all the way back to the Pacific, this is next week's storm system that's going to move through on Monday. This one already taking shape, gathering strength here. This is going to pull down a lot of cold air from off of the poles, almost down from the Arctic Circle, and that's going to push that cold air right on down our direction. So we are going to be seeing a big drop in the temperatures coming up as we go into around next Monday or so. Climate Prediction Center is already showing the extent of that cold air. This is going to be a half-continent wide wallop of cold air from the northern plains all the way down below normal temperatures, stretching to the Gulf of Mexico. Now, whether or not the freezing line makes it all the way down that direction, that is going to have to be a topic for next week, but it is going to be possible that we see that. Short-term forecast next couple of days looking like this. That dry front moves in tonight into around Thursday morning. Thursday afternoon, sunshine should rebound. The temperatures back in the mid-50s. And then as we go into Friday, more chances of showers, possibly some thunderstorms developing through the afternoon. Very mild temperatures, may cool off under the rainfall. And then we see again the potential of some very mild numbers, upper 50s to lower 60s through the rest of that forecast. That clears out by Saturday morning. That next week system comes on through. That again gives us the potential for maybe a few clouds by Saturday afternoon, but beyond that, there's not that much taking place. Now, that again takes us into the early portion of the weekend. Let's go a little farther, rocketing through again the same time period from Friday onwards, and then we see, as we go toward next week, Monday, that's where we see potential of some winter weather. First off, very early Monday morning. Temperatures ahead of that front, looks like we might, in some parts of the area, of course it would hang up at the wrong place there, we might make our way into the mid to upper 30s, it looks like, by early Monday. And then we see the chances of whatever snow we get basically dwindling. There's really not that much expected to be out there afterwards. After that, notice again the warmer weather on this side of the front, behind that front into the early morning, early afternoon period for around Monday morning, early Monday afternoon. We've got some temperatures back in the negative digits. That is going to be heading our direction. Now, by Monday night, the temperatures are going to be on the cold side, and then we start to see the problems coming on through. Here's the way the 7-day forecast winds up into the next week. Showers, thunderstorms possible on Friday. Still some very mild temperatures here. Lower to mid 40s again Saturday and Sunday. And then we see again that drop in temperatures. We might make the upper 30s on Martin Luther King Jr. Day coming up. And then we kind of bottom out right there. That number right there, let me make certain I'm pointing at the right thing on Facebook to make certain that we are on for there. That number right there is where we see the problems with the disagreement in the forecast. Right now, it looks like Tuesday morning's temperatures will be around 10 degrees Fahrenheit. That could easily drop into the single digits. So as this system heads our way Sunday night into Monday, we'll top the temperatures close to 40, maybe if we're lucky. And then that night, we could see some single digits in parts of the area. That's how cold it's going to be. Not even freezing on Tuesday, mid to upper 30s after that, as we see some sunshine come back into the picture. Could be some rain mixed with or changing over to snow, depending on how fast that colder air overtakes the moisture ahead of that. And if it drops it quickly enough with enough moisture left over, we may see some snow showers, and some of that could be sticking to some of the roadway surfaces. So that is what we're going to be seeing the potential of for right now. That is going to be giving us maybe some roadway problems early Monday evening. Again, it depends on how fast the temperatures drop and how much moisture is left over into that cold air, coming down into that cold air, that we could be seeing the potential problems there. So for right now, that's the way it looks with a couple more systems. That one cold front tomorrow and the next one on Saturday. Weak, dry systems. Friday and Monday look to be the best potential there, and it's going to take us a better part of the rest of the week to actually warm up. So I don't see anything that's going to help us out really warm things back up again. So frigid at nighttime, and not seeing a great deal of anything involving rain. No deluge taking place, but it is possible that we could see again the development of some snow showers out there. We'll be watching this with a lot of interest, to say the least, so keep it tuned to News 12 and we'll let you know a little bit more about what may be heading our direction. We did manage to pick up a decent amount of rainfall yesterday, and that brought us up for the month and for the year. So we've done a very good job of bumping the numbers up in just the last week from the rainfall after a very dry finish to 2023, and we actually were relatively close to our normal highs and lows for the day, so we're not doing too bad on that for right now. And otherwise, not looking like anything major coming through. Let me do the winds here real quick, because we have that high wind watch taking place. Not seeing much of a problem until we get into Friday morning. That's when the wind gusts start to pick up, and it looks like as we go into Friday late morning, early afternoon, that's where we may start to see wind gusts topping upper 50 to lower 60 mile per hour range, and that is where we get the reason why we have that high wind watch taking place. Those numbers, this is new data that we've got here, and those numbers you see up around Pikeville, part of the Cumberland Plateau, back into middle Tennessee, mid and upper 60 mile per hour range. We're talking next to tropical storm force winds here. Not quite as bad in the river valley, much higher on the plateau and back into the higher elevations around I-40. But this needs to be paid attention to, because this coming Friday, this is where we could be seeing some very dangerous wind conditions out there. And if you're traveling, this is where we really need to pay attention. Those winds will continue into that afternoon. So heading home on the school bus, we could be looking at some very choppy conditions. By sunset Friday, things start to even out a little bit, and then we see a windy weekend coming up with wind gusts about 20 to around 40 miles per hour. So we'll see if a wind advisory keeps in place around the area. I would watch this with a lot of interest right now, because some of these numbers coming up Friday afternoon, that is something that is really concerning for the high-profile vehicles out there. This is what, again, can tip some things over, like buses, like SUVs, anything with a high profile. This is where those winds can push against those high-profile vehicles, and that is where we can get some problems on the roadway. So we are going to have to watch this situation just as much as we did the last one coming on through. So that is some worrisome forecast there where it comes to the details moving on through the area with that latest storm system. So we'll be watching that. Let me do a quick snow check here for you. Again, by the time the system rolls through into around Friday, minimal chances of snow showers taking place here. Now, the latest trend we saw on the maps just a little while ago, it did not show this amount of energy and moisture coming through the area. So it does look like a little bit more substantial possibilities. Mid-South area will see more than we will, and back up around the Great Lakes, around and north of I-70. We will see the potential of looks like at least some heavier amounts of snow showers taking place. Again, this is on Monday. As that cold air comes on through, it depends on how much moisture is left over. If there's enough, we could see some of that snow stacking up in the valley areas, and that is where we could be seeing some more problems for Tuesday morning. Again, for travel purposes, this also right here is where we see a decent amount of problems with the long range. Snow forecasts do not do well in the long range, so this is a potential, it's a possibility of amounts, but more than likely these amounts will go down as we continue to get closer in time to the event. So a week out, give or take a few days, not good news for the models because it shows some snow showers out there, but whether or not we get some of that in any of this amount is still very doubtful at this point. So that again is where we're going to be watching that with a lot of interest for tonight and for the next several days. So definitely want to keep it tuned to News 12 on that. I think that should do it for tonight. We're not going to do too much more here as we've already gone 20 minutes and we had to delay a little bit thanks to the Facebook problem that we had earlier on. Apologies for that. Once again, Chip Chapman will have your forecast bright and early tomorrow morning. And of course, I'll have a peek at your forecast coming up on Thursday evening. So definitely want to stay tuned for more on that. Jeff Peterson on Facebook, do the winds increase as they come downslope from the mountains? You can have, in Antarctica, you can have what are called katabatic winds, to where the winds, when they come downhill with gravity and the force off of the mountains, gravity pushing that downhill, moving against all those other air molecules, you can heat the winds up and the temperatures will change. They do tend to happen that way with mountain wave winds. National Weather Service Morristown has a very good monograph on that. If you'd like to go to their website and check out historical weather events at weather.gov/MRX, if you'd like to see a little bit more about how those mountain waves work on there. Again, Chip will have your forecast bright and early on Thursday morning, and of course I'll have more for you coming up on Thursday evening, so stay tuned for a lot more with News 12, especially in the next couple of days. Again, Friday could be a little rough and tumble and getting some very cold air coming through here on Monday next, so get set to get ready to bundle up in the next few days. Stay tuned for more with News 12 on air and online. I'm Chief Meteorologist Austen Onek from downtown Chattanooga, Tennessee. We'll have more tomorrow morning on the morning show, and always more forecast available at WDEF.com/weather.